What is up, Facebook land? Welcome to another episode of the Two Dates in the Dash podcast, episode 51. Before I introduce my buddy Frank Hickson, who you guys are going to love, I'm going to first dedicate the show. One of the things that is very important to me is obviously law enforcement. It's part of who I am. It's a piece of me. And tonight in Philadelphia, there's a really bad situation going on. Where all 6 officers were shot, and there's a barricaded situation in the city. And as much as police take a bad rap in the national media, and a lot of people have opinions of police and what we do, the reality is it's a dangerous job, and we take risks. And it's important that we pay attention to that we recognize that there is inherent risk with this job, and that every day we don't know whether or not we're going home. So my prayers and dedication are to the 6 officers who were shot tonight and all the officers on scene, that the situation gets resolved peacefully from here on out. No one else gets hurt, and all the good guys go home. So that's my dedication for the night. The podcast, where can you hear it? You can hear it anywhere there's a podcast, pretty much. iTunes, Stitcher, Applecast, Anchor, you name it, you can find it. And I really do appreciate everybody that logs in and listens to the podcast in their car or at the gym or wherever they're at. It's important. And I just hope that the next 50 episodes are just as cool and awesome as the first 50 were. My man, Frank Hickson. Frank we met through a mutual friend, Ryan Greiser, and his mom, Catherine. And we'll talk about that introduction, how that happened. But Frank is a former Division I football coach, coached at all levels, close to 3 decades, I believe. Frank is an author. He wrote a book called Tackling MS. And if you can figure out by the title, he also is an MS warrior who is living every day with that disease and finding ways to be an advocate for those that have it, and helping to find new and better ways to deal with the side effects of that disease. So without further ado, my man, Coach Hickson, how are you, buddy?
Doing just fine. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm excited to have you on. I know that there was a couple times we had some conflicts on dates, but we're here today. We're sharing. We're going to break some bread, brother, and we're going to figure out how to inspire the people listening, especially those that are dealing with neurological, neuromuscular issues, and most specifically MS.
No doubt about it. It's a battle every day for everybody. We have to fight the battle and meet every day as a blessing, and know that God's in charge.
Yeah, that's no truer words have been said, man. There's certain things that we control that he gives us the control over.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, God's got his hand on the steering wheel.
The thing about it, Matt, this situation is one that's a little bit critical, because with the disease that there's no cure for at this time, people making some bad choices with it. People losing hope and trying to figure out what to do, especially with the disease there's no cure for. I really believe that there'll be a cure sometime soon. And as long as we continue to fight the battle and know that God's in charge, live one day at a time and appreciate the blessings as they continue to happen in your life.
Absolutely. So Ryan Greiser, who you love and admire, and you enjoyed coaching him at Liberty University down there in Virginia. Ryan is one of those special guys in my life. I've known Ryan since he was a senior in high school, when he won the Maxwell Award for the High School Player of the Year. And then he went on to obviously be a star at Liberty University, running back. And then after he graduated college, he actually came to work for me at my gym, Max Out. And ever since then, we've always really stayed connected, and we see each other often throughout the year with Maxwell Football Club events. But he spoke super highly of you, and so did his mom. And that, when people that I love and care about speak highly about another person, and they say that you really need to get Frank on the show, that's the only you could have had been a shoe salesman, and it wouldn't matter. You'd be on my show. So I just want you to know that the validation that they gave and the kind words that they had for you and the love that they have for you is why we're here today.
You talk about a miracle. let's talk about that. How in the world does he go to Liberty University? Here's a guy that was offered from Penn State, full offer from Syracuse, full offer from Rutgers, but he ends up going to Liberty University. And let's just end it by saying it's a God thing, because that's what it was. He really wanted to play high-level football, and he wanted to do so in a certain way. And one of the ways that he wanted to do it, he wanted to play a specific position that would be running back. And the big offers of people wanted him to be a defensive back. Well, that's the best guy is going to be the running back when I coached, and it didn't matter who it was. And I let them know that if you're the best player, that you'll be the running back at Liberty University. And I had no problems with that. My wife and myself, we've dealt with that every place that we've been at, dealing with who is the best football player and playing the best football player as best we can. And we had to convince him that number one, if you come to Liberty, number one, you get a great education, absolute education from a spiritual school that takes on your spirituality in a way that it's supposed to, and that you're going to play a high-level football and do so while trying to get to Division I, and that's what we did, making that climb. So convincing Ryan that he will be able to get an opportunity to be a running back at Liberty University, we told him that, a real idea, and that's exactly what happened in that situation. So we really enjoyed Ryan, really enjoyed the young man himself, and he did a great job for us. A great player, great person, and talk about from the family standpoint. Kathy, you can't get any better than her. She's the best there is at this time.
How good of a football player was Ryan? For people that don't know, he went to Penn Ridge High School and dominated there. Was obviously the best player in the tri-state area when he won the award.
Yeah. Liberty University doesn't get an opportunity to recruit or to land a top 50 player in the entire country. Ryan was one of the top 50 in the country by ESPN, by USA Today. And again, for him to thinking seriously about Liberty University was awesome. The thing about it, we had to do our job, do our due diligence to sell him on the school. In terms of a player, Ryan came in to be a running back, and he showed me all the things that you saw on film and all the things that you saw him doing, the high-speed cutbacks and acceleration. He showed all those kinds of things. So, yeah, he was a running back. What ended up happening his freshman year, he had a couple of injuries that slowed him down, even trying to get into the lineup that year. And through all that, finished the year out as best he could. There was a coaching change from King Karcher to Danny Rocco. Danny Rocco comes in, and Danny, great football coach. The Rocco name carries a lot of weight, especially in the Pennsylvania area. And when he came and the off season was going on, and the meetings with players and meetings with the coordinators and everything else happened, they made a decision that he will be a great defensive back for us. And that's exactly what he was. He came in there and he was a great defensive back. The guy that he would probably go against as running back was Rashad Jennings. See, Rashad came in the year afterward. So it would have been Rashad versus Ryan. And but at defensive back, there was no question he was going to play there, but he's going to play for us somewhere. And he played defensive back for us. It was a great defensive back for us. A lot of interceptions, a lot of tackles, big presence, smart, was a all-conference player and a great player for us.
All right, enough about this. Isn't the Ryan Greiser show, and I know he's watching.
It could be.
As much as I love Ryan, this isn't about him. I just wanted to make sure people understood the connectivity and how important he is in my life and he is in your life. So I asked one question to every single one of my guests, and I gave you a little bit of heads up on this, so I didn't want you to get too caught off guard. But who is my man, Coach? Who are you?
Man of God. I feel like I'm one of his warriors in life. I'm proud to say that I'm a family man, a husband, devoted husband to a beautiful woman that has gone every step with me. With all my fights of multiple sclerosis and everything in my life, she's been the rock and my special woman. And I'm very blessed to have her. So I'm also the family man that I am. I have my wife, Misha. My daughter, Leisure Danielle, is married and getting ready to have a baby. So I'm getting ready to be a grandfather. And I have a young son that is the running back here at Liberty University who's going to his senior year. So as I retired from coaching or stopped coaching in 2008, God says that you'll never stop coaching. God said that you have to come off the field in 2008, and didn't understand it, but now it makes sense because I was able to see Frankie Hickson be a great football player at Heritage High School. And people don't understand that if I'd have been on somebody's staff, I wouldn't have been able to see anything. That would have killed me and the family man that I am. But I was able to see him play each year there, and then he goes to Liberty University, and I've not missed a game, and we're not going to miss a game. We missed one game, which was in New Mexico, Las Cruces, last year, but we're not missing the game this year. We're planning to go to every game, but with my daughter being pregnant, and the baby's supposed to be delivered on the 5th of October, but you never know how these things are going to go. If it's early, God is saying you're going to see every game. So right now I'm a family man that's going through this disease one day at a time, and I'm thanking God every day for getting me up every day and getting me along my way, and thanking him every day for the blessing.
A lot there, man. First of all, God doesn't make mistakes.
No, we don't.
Always know the reason why a decision is made or circumstances are placed upon us. But just as you said, it was revealed to you later that, God said it's time for you to stop coaching when MS became an issue and you couldn't do the things you want to do. But it was God saying, now it's time for you to be a father and help mold and grow your son into the person and player that he knew that he could be, and he needed you to do that. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. The thing about it, he's had at Liberty University, he's going on his 5th running back coach. I never heard of that in my life. 5 years, this is his 5th running back coach. But he's not the 5th running back coach. Basically, he's the 8th because his mama coaches him and his sister coaches him. And sure enough, I know what's going on as well. So he has all kinds of people talking running back play with him together.
You speak fondly of your children, man. I can see that passion for your children in your eyes and in your voice. Let's talk about them. What What are their individual qualities and their traits that make them unique and so special in your life?
They're my kids. And we as a family are very close because of all the moves we made. The career itself was 26 years, and I moved 9 times in 26 years of coaching. When I got to South Carolina is when I met Misha, and she basically just jumped in without any hesitation at all. The thing is that from 1994 on, it wasn't about Coach Hickson. It was Coach Hickson and Miss Misha, because everybody knew her. She was the ultimate coach's wife. And she had some rules adjusted and changed in NCAA because one of her talents was she loves to cook and loves to love everybody with her meals. And Misha can do everything. So the rule comes up now in the NCAA that you're able to provide an occasional meal. They say occasional to keep you from feeding them every day, and which is not a problem for her. But that was a part of us as a family being close, knowing what our jobs are, what we do in all the places that we've gone to. So it was not Coach Hickson, it was Coach Hickson and Miss Misha. And with Miss Misha has to do with the family as well. Everybody remembered Frankie and Leidra too. So it wasn't just Coach Hickson, but Misha completed the whole situation. It was Coach Hickson and Miss Misha. And so with that, we were together at Oklahoma at North Texas, where Frankie was born in North Texas, in Denton, Texas, and left there and became the head coach in Morehouse in Atlanta, and left there and went to Oklahoma State in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And then Liberty University was the last stop. So the last 5 moves were with them. And I'm a family man. We're a family, and we're a family that stays close together. And Leidra went to college at the University of Virginia, our way, but she still saw her family 3 days out the week. That was her promise to her dad, that I'd see her on Sunday. I'd see her on Friday when she got back home, Saturday and Sunday dinner. Then she went back to school. That was her promise, and she held up her promise. She was there. She's back here every week. Anyway, but we had her close. And then Frankie coming to Liberty University made perfect sense for us to remain as close as we are.
I mean, my kids are my world. I travel all over. My kids are swimmers. So it's literally everything about my world is my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, my wife is obviously the rock of our family. And let's talk about when you get diagnosed with MS. It's not just happening to you; it's happening to everybody in your family. How did that affect everybody when they heard that news?
Yeah, that's a good segue. I was at the Naval Academy, and it was the first Army-Navy game in 1990, and I'm excited about being at the academy itself. And I'm in Philadelphia for the Army-Navy game in front of the world. And it was a big time situation, and we had lost a heartbreaker in 1990. And this time at the academy, you don't go home right after the game. You have to stay at the Franklin Motel. I'm sorry, the Hershey Motel. And I stayed there that night, and wondering about the game, thinking about the game, trying to come off of the loss. And it's a devastating thing that happened to lose to Army, because everything is set on winning against Army. Lost the game, and the next morning I woke up And I said, you know what? I got a little bit of time here. I said, I'm going to put on my sweats. I'm going to run the Rocky statue. Now, I watched Rocky all my life, and I've always thought about and dreamed about doing that. So you know what? I put on my Navy sweats, and I ran the Rocky statue. And this is before they moved it to the Spectrum, where it is right now. But I got up there, and I'm looking at Rocky and looking at the statue, and I was amazed of looking at Philadelphia. And I felt like I've arrived as coaching because of all the moves I've made. So I'm walking back to the Hershey, and something wasn't right. You know, I was having double vision on my left side, which was the first indicator. And the second indicator was not being able to keep my balance. So something was wrong. I did not know what it was, but I thought maybe I was a little wore out from the 3 weeks of preparing for the Army-Navy game. I thought maybe that had something to do with it. So we get back to the academy, and they give me my tickets to go to Atlanta to start recruiting, the money and everything else, and I fly out to go to Atlanta, and I can't hold my food down, and the room is spinning. I get myself together, go out to recruit that day, come back. I can't eat anything. I can't taste anything good. The only thing I could eat were waffles and Waffle House. That was all I could eat. I couldn't eat any meat. I couldn't eat any bread. I couldn't eat any meal at all because I couldn't hold it down. So finally on Wednesday morning, I wake up and I'm looking at the room spin. I said, something is wrong here. So I call the late George Chomp, who just passed away, who was the head coach. I called Coach Chomp and said, Coach, there's something wrong. I can't hold my food down, and the room is spinning. He says, Frank, take the next plane home now. Come home right now. Let's find out what's going on. So I get home on Wednesday evening, and then on Thursday morning I go see a doctor, and Doc checks me, telling him what's going on with me, how I can't hold food down, and what's going on with my body, and the doc asked me some questions, asked me some pointed questions. He asked me, he says, Coach, let me ask you about your sex life. And you know, I'm a man, you know, what exactly you asked? He said, well, let me ask you about your wife's sex life. So, Doc, you kind of deep here with these questions. What are you trying to ask me? He says, well, before you leave, Coach, we have to take some blood. I said, why is that? He said, well, we're living the times of Magic Johnson, 1990. I said, yeah. He said, well, I didn't check your blood. Got to check you for AIDS. I beg your pardon? AIDS? And I'm saying, no. He says, we have to take blood to check you for AIDS. And that was a Thursday night or Thursday afternoon. They said they'll get the results back on Tuesday. We got the longest weekend of your life, and you're thinking possibly that you have AIDS. Little sidebar, at the time I was married to someone else. I was married to Annette Daniels, who was a professional opera singer, mezzo soprano. And she lived her life singing, her career, and I was a career person in football. The one question I never asked, but we were on the outs, you know, because she was she was at Houston Grand Opera at the time, and things weren't well. But anyway, but I have to ask a question. You know, I know what's going on with me. I don't know exactly what's going on with her. Long of it was this. I convinced myself it can't be me. I can't have this going on with me. The Tuesday comes up and my mom and I go together to the doctor. And the doctor says, well, first thing I'll say to you, coach, is you do not have AIDS. It's good. But we suspect you have multiple sclerosis. Again, another question. What the heck is multiple sclerosis, in 1990? So you do the research on it as we go on. It was deemed as a non-specific neurological dysfunction, meaning they don't know what it is, but it's possible that I have MS. So you went through the episode, because that's what I was going through, was an episode, but I went through it, got back in track right in time for spring ball, and I was able to go through spring ball. But the doc said to me that you don't need to let anybody know this because we don't know for sure you have it, because you can be blackballed in the profession. So we kept it close to the vest. We did. And what ended up happening, we had other things that happened to me, and the only thing that you can take was prednisone when those things happen. One key thing that happened was my stepfather, the late Dr. Richard Fairley, knowing this was going on with me, had a buddy of his, Dr. Hamp Murray, who had MS. And so he came over to talk to me about living with it, what to do with it, how you're supposed to handle yourself when you come up and you're tired and you deal with this fatigue thing, how to just sit down and let it pass and keep on moving, doing what you're doing. You have to take better care of yourself. He gives all credit to his wife, Miss Judy, and knowing what she did for him, how she took care of him as a doc. His little sidebar, he just celebrated his 95th birthday, and he's still alive. Judy's passed. I'm saying I'm gonna still hang out here. I'm gonna still be here. That's proof to tell me if you take care of yourself, you trust him upstairs, and do the right thing, you can live as long as you want to. So all that is into what happened at the end of the Naval Academy. Then I go to South Carolina in 94, and going to the Gamecocks, which is home for me, South Carolina. And at the very last opportunity to have free time in my summertime or in my vacation time was the last time for me to be out. I ran into a set of eyes that I'm still looking at. A set of eyes that knocked me out. And when you meet Misha, it'll knock you out as well. And it's the best thing ever happened to me, because she took care of me, and she's still taking care of me right now. So meeting her, it was not Coach Hickson, it was Coach Hickson and Miss Misha. And so we loved football so much, and we still love football with Frankie right now. A little side on myself, hope it's not too much, but it's kind of the story.
And that's what the show's about, is for people to just share their stories. So
yep.
When, after you met Misha, how long was it after you met her did you tell her about the MS?
She knew right away. We had a whole lot of things to talk about the first day we met each other. A whole lot of things. And sharing the MS with her was a part of it as well. So we all kept that close to the best. And especially at that time, it still was a non-specific diagnosis, because it was not a a diagnosis of MS until when I went to Oklahoma.
What year was that?
The kid in 2000 is when we got the diagnosis. When I told the kids, I told my daughter Lidra in 1990, we were, I think we were taking a run or something like that. She used to run with me and or play golf with me, and I, took her aside and let her know that I have MS, multiple sclerosis, and the first thing she asked me, Daddy, you gonna die? I said, no, Daddy's gonna be here, girl, as long as I can. But no, this is not one that's gonna take me away, but I'm still here. Frankie lived with it from day one. He knew when he was 2 and 3. He had no idea what it was, but he's lived with the disease with me. The family has lived with this disease with me. Hence, those who have the disease, if they're isolated, that's the worst thing that can happen. They gotta have people with them. They gotta have a family. They gotta have folks that love them, that live it with them and understand it and know about the diseases themselves. I don't care who it is, whether it be Lidra, Misha, or Frankie, or even the dog. They know what I can do and what I can't do. They know when it's too much for me, that fatigue is settling in, for me to shut it down and relax and live another day.
I know I work with a lot of MS people, and obviously I know Kathy, and I have a family that has the disease. What has been the progression of the disease in you?
It's been kind of at a pause right now, because I'm not in a stressful situation right now. Right now, retired now, have more control of the situation, more control of the disease right now. That's not anything progressing right now. Right now, we're taking Ocrevus right now. That's the medication of choice right now. We just had MRIs of the brain and the spine, and everything is clear right now, and everything's doing well. So Ocrevus is doing well with us, but we continue to watch it, continue to do what we have to do to keep us at bay now. And the thing is, this is the best report we've had with medications that we've had in the past. The thing about this disease is so tricky. The first thing is, I have no pain with MS, if you can believe that. You can believe anything with MS, because everything is what's going on. There's no pain with MS, with my MS. Number two, remember, again, family gets involved with it too. Misha, my wife, has 8 aunts. If you can believe that, 8 aunts, no uncles, 8 aunts. And the Tecfidera commercial came out. Beautiful commercial with the lady jumping into the pool, coming out the pool, rap, going to the carnival with her boyfriend, that kind of. It's a beautiful commercial. When the minute that came out, all 8 of the aunts called Misha individually and asked her, has Frank tried Tecfidera? And Misha says, been there, done that, got into it, immediately had to come off of it because they found a lesion in my brain with this Tecfidera. So everybody's body is handled so differently, but you have to be on track on what's going on to change and to get back on dosages. Those are efficacious, those are not. So you can feel good about something, but then all of a sudden something happens. We feel good about taking the Ocrevus right now because we've got the patent that says that it's working, meaning the MRIs. Those kinds of situations and those kinds of those kinds of things that go on are very expensive. The MRIs are very expensive, and the medications themselves are very expensive. And Matt, unfortunately, there's some people that have given up and thrown in the towel because it's so expensive. Well, that's the first thing that we found while we got into these medications, so being so expensive. But there are ways that people could handle it. And we found out easy enough, because you go right to find out all these. There are like 800 numbers for relief, for payment, for relief of anything that could help in this matter. So you call all 8 of them at the beginning of the year, where they have enough money to help people. So you call the 8 and find out when you have relief on MRIs, relief on medications, relief on anything. You'll find ways to get through instead of giving up. You can't just give up. You have to keep fighting. So more than anything else, you got to keep on fighting.
How much has diet helped you in managing the disease?
A lot. I say a lot. I'll just say this. Misha's my everything. She is. But as Fred Sanford would say, good Lord, that woman can cook anything. And so she controls what I eat, because everything is so good. And she monitors what I do take in. But Matt, the woman can cook too. She cooked. And for me to say no to what she's cooking me, I'm not going to. So she tames it as best she can. But like I said, like
exercise,
like Fred Sanford said, that woman can cook.
What about exercise? Is that something you're doing every day?
Absolutely. I'm able to work out with a trainer, and I'm able to do so twice a week. Again, fatigue figures into this. You don't want to work yourself to a frenzy where you can't go anymore. But on Tuesday and Thursday, I work out upper body on Tuesday and lower body on Thursday, or in reverse. We go in reverse if on a Saturday we get ready to play a football game. I don't need to be fatigued on Saturday. So what will make me fatigue is working lower body. So I do upper body on Tuesday, lower body on Thursday. I'm able to go into Friday and Saturday and enjoy the game. And then I'm able to get back into the gym on Tuesday.
One of the things I found, and Kathy has been a godsend, is that having an advocate within the MS community is vital to the information that may not be readily available, getting out to people that need it. Yeah.
Well, I agree. I think that as much communication as we can in the MS community, the more you'll learn, the more you'll find out, the more questions you have answered. The people who answer questions more than the docs are the people who have the disease themselves. When connected with this trainer, his name is Pellegrino Ringy. He has a gym, and he's had people with MS that he connects with me. Call Frank. Jasmine calls Frank. Everybody calls Frank and asks Frank about it. Jasmine is a young lady. I think her last name is Carter, I believe. Jasmine just found out she has MS. So immediately she calls me, and she's hooked up with Dr. Goldman in the University of Virginia hospital. And so she's taken on what I have and the person that was taking care of me. So again, as much as we can communicate with anybody who has it, it helps. We pray together, we talk all the time, and as long as we can communicate with each other with the same disease, it's no question it helps each other, helps us all.
What I want to do though, when we're done this, is in the notes on Facebook, I'm going to put your email address and your Facebook page. So if anybody that's watching has MS, they can reach out to you.
Matt, do you mind giving them my telephone number too?
As long as you're comfortable with it.
I have absolutely no problem with that at all. I'd ask them to call me after 7 o'clock, but yes, I'll be available to call and talk with about it. You never know who is in jam to ask the questions on it, especially those who've gone through it as well.
Thank you for that. So the last 5 minutes of the show, I want to spend talking about your vision for your future. Where do you see yourself moving as far as with Frankie when he's done playing football? What's going to happen to Frank Hickson when he's got a little bit more free time on his hand, no more football to watch or travel with?
Well, you're kind of in that right now, I'll be honest with you, in this thing called retirement. One day at a time, and one day at a time, there for the kids, there for my wife, there for the MS fight, anybody that needs anything from me. I've been asked to speak motivational talks to a lot of people. I'm looking forward to visiting to a couple of high schools in the area, talking about the disease or talking about football coaching, if you will. I'm looking forward to being a grandfather. I've got the kids I'm gonna have, my daughter and my son, but their offsprings I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to being a granddad any day now. And I'm looking forward to their legacy. And I'm also optimistic because I want to see this thing through. I want to see the cure come to pass. I want to see when it does happen, because it's going to happen, and how tremendous it'll be. And I want to continue to be a man of God. He's first in our family, and he's first with everything that we do. Every place that we've moved, you find a place to live based on the best school district in the area, and that's where we move. And if Dad has to commute, Dad commuted. But then right after that, we find the church, and we settle in on that church, and we work diligently with that church. In this situation, Family Life Church here in Lynchburg, the Apostle Ray McQueen is the minister. His wife Sharon ministered with him, and it's coincidence. Ray McQueen is the father of Ray McQueen Jr., who married my daughter. Okay, so that's kind of where we are, and I think that Ryan Greiser will let everybody know about his visit to Family Life. The first thing they did when they came on campus, they came to Family Life. All the guys that I recruited, all the guys that I coached, they came to Family Life. So Family Life, he talks about all the time how they sang the Welcome to Family Life song to them. Well, Ray Jr. is who my daughter married, and they're doing quite well right now. And I cannot be happier than for a young lady with a good young man.
Well, Coach, I'm going to also put a link to your book on the Facebook page as well, Tackling MS. I highly recommend everybody get a copy of that book. I'm honored to have you on. You're a wonderful man. I'm blessed to know that we share the same common bond with the Greiser family. Your family is family to me now because you're family with the Greisers.
There you go.
When I end the show, you're going to disappear. I'll call you on the cell once we're all done.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you, and it was an honor to have you on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And again, to speak the MS fight, if I help one person, it's not done in vain. But I hope and pray to help a whole lot of people in something that I've gone through for 30 years.
Well, brother, I'll always pray for you. You're in my prayers. And if anybody's going to fight the fight and win it, it's going to be you.
Do all I can. And I have people with me, people right beside me doing it too.
Well, Coach, I'm going to close out the show. Thank you again for being a guest in the 2 Dates in the Dash podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cubbler. And everybody, if you know somebody with MS, be a support system for them. Make sure they know that they're not alone. And in general, just go out and be kind to one another. Take care. God bless.
God bless.